everybody? It's your favorite Sith Lord's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Black Series Amazon exclusive, as far as I know, Emperor Palpatine with Throne. I pre-ordered this, I feel like a year ago, and it finally came out. It's nice to have it. We're going to talk about a lot of things regarding this. We're going to compare it with the older version, but first, we have to talk about accessories. He comes with two alternate hands. They're actually done quite nice. So the hands are painted from the base of the hand into like this kind of like grayish, purplish, almost dead look, and then into the translucent blue. So it's nice, and the fingers are all made of the translucent blue as well, so the entire hand ends up being painted, and it does look good. And I think this is a smart way to do the lightning rather than make it kind of clip on to the fingers or whatever. That never kind of works right, in my opinion. But I think it's nice enough. The lightning looks a little cheesy, but I think it's kind of the best they could do, I would imagine. He comes with two alternate heads, and they're both kind of indicative of the different types of Star Wars fans. The ones on the left are kind of the original trilogy or nothing folks, and then the one on the right is more like me every time I sit down. I don't know why it's funny to me. Anyway, they're done nice enough. I'm not sure how accurate they are, though, and I'm not sure how well the kind of the new face paint application is working on this one. It doesn't quite do it. It's better than the original, which we'll take a look at during the size comparisons, but I don't know. It's definitely him. It's unmistakably him. The sculpt looks good enough, but there's something that doesn't seem quite right about it to me. I can't quite put my finger on it. I think it's in the eyes. Plus, there's like some gray paint that comes through because they are painted to the nines. Like there's washes on it. There's washes on the hair. Let me turn the heads around so you can see the sides. Like there's washes in the hair, makes the hair look good and all of that stuff. But there's also like gray paint on the face. I'm just not sure. I think they were really trying. I'm just not sure how successful it was. And he comes with his cane. It's sculpted well enough. It's all kind of withered and haggard and everything. I think I compared it to the original. I think it actually is slightly different, but it's very similar, right? As it should be. So in regards to his cane, he'll hold it just fine, but as you can see, it is a little short. And I had the same problem with the original release. The cane is just kind of obnoxiously short for the size of the figure. You can kind of fake it, and I'll show you when I do the size comparison of him in the original that you can kind of have it on his robe, and it kind of gives the illusion that it's touching the ground, but it's really hard to get him in a pose where the cane is touching the ground, honestly, and they should have just made it just slightly longer. You can always bend the elbow up more. It's hard, you can't get it to extend anymore, you know what I mean? Comes with his throne, beautiful sculpt work, lots of little details. We have the silver paint up here, softer plastic. We have the purple piece that's added in. It looks nice. Then we have red, yellow, blue paint, red, yellow paint, red, silver paint, red, yellow paint. It looks quite nice. You have the little kind of indentation here at the bottom. I don't know if this separates. So, it's really, this is beautifully done. It's perfect, arguably. And at last, we can talk about the figure. So one thing I like that they did with the robes is the side of the robe is stitched. So the two flaps are stitched together, so it kind of lays nice. The one thing I wish they would have done is stitched this part back here down, because it does pop up a little bit, and it's not the most unsightly thing in the world. It's just slightly less than perfect. But as you can see, it definitely pulls off the kind of iconic look. So I dig that a lot. The head is on a ball peg because I think a lot of this is reused parts, which is fine ultimately, because they use double ball pegs now mostly for the head. So ball peg, or a ball hinge rather, you get up to there. It's actually not a ball hinge, it's a ball peg on a disc hinge, and then down to there, so that's no problem. And then you get the swivel and a little bit of catitude, so all that works. We get a single ball peg from the pelvis into the chest, which gets you some ab crunch forward, back, and a swivel and a little teapot. Disc hinge shoulders that with the soft goods are no problem whatsoever, and then down all the way around, well, until the soft goods hang it up. Bicep swivel, which is nice, we don't see that too much. And then double jointed elbow, which is crazy, a little, maybe a little unnecessary, but I guess that's because of reused parts would be my guess, I don't know. And then we have a swivel from side to side with this hand, which I wish was up and down because it would help with holding the cane. On this arm, it's the exact same except with the finger, and this is also, the hinge is up and down, or this hand is the hinges up and down as opposed to left and right, but I guess it kind of is left and right as well. Depends on where you have the hand, I suppose, right? But this is left and this is left and right. What am I thinking? Up and down would be if it was here, and I kind of wish it was up and down on this hand. Forgive me. All right. So then we have the skirt, and I don't know. So the soft goods, when they do it like this, I feel like they should add a little bit more material, because it ends up looking a little too skirtish for me instead of like robes where there's like, you know, pleats and stuff. So I wish they would it was more material kind of bunched up. But even with the soft goods, it is a stretchy enough material where you can get the legs pretty far out before they start causing any damage. You can see it's causing a little bit because of the cut down here at the bottom. And then forward and back, and you shouldn't need them in that dynamic of a pose anyway. Thigh swivel, double jointed knee, and then you have the glossy plastic for the boots. You have an ankle tilt up, an ankle tilt down, and a rocker. So, I mean, pretty well done, kind of standard, but a couple extra bonuses that we don't necessarily always see with Black Series, including double jointed elbows and bicep swivels, because it's kind of from the older cloth of Black Series in regards to articulation. Since then, they've kind of sacrificed articulation for sculpt, which I'm ultimately okay with, but it's nice every now and then to get a little return to form. So yeah, it looks good, and then we have this soft plastic robe piece with the tassel. Doesn't swivel, so that's always a little bit of a bummer, and it sticks out a little bit, which is a little weird, but you know, fair. So there he is with the original release, and I had this thing undone, the little clasp here that I had to fix, but you kind of get it. This is a chair from Layered Creations that I bought and painted. But as you can see, they have made a number of improvements. The way that the hood fits onto the head, the soft goods for the lower robes, which allows him to sit in a throne, which is the main reason why they had to re-release it if they were going to do a throne, because this one could not sit, so I always had to have him standing next to the throne. And the soft goods allows for a little bit more articulation in the figure. So, plus the face sculpt and all is much better, but, or at least the paint anyway, I guess I should say. But yeah, certainly an improvement. And there he is with the Black Series Vader on the left and a Figuarts Vader on the right. So he scales well with both. I have the Black Series one hunched over a bit because he doesn't stand as well, but he'll fit in well with both, or either, I guess I should say. And there he is in my kind of Empire Dio. Cape Cod John made these walls for me, which I'm appreciative of, and then I kind of added the rest. My buddy Gary, actually, he's on this week's episode of Nerd Rage. He cut sheet metal for me for the plates so that it wouldn't take up a lot of space and I could get 2 layers of characters, which actually ended up quite nice. And, you know, it's pretty cool. It works. I gotta light this thing a little bit better, but it works. Final thoughts wise, it's a really good figure, but it does have a couple drawbacks. For one, the cane should be slightly longer. I know that sounds like a nitpick, but it should be. Secondly, like, he sits in the throne fine, but his feet have a tendency to dangle, but this actually like kind of true to the source material, so that's not really their fault. I don't think that we can gig him for it, but it does look a little silly in kind of a 1/12 scale. Also, the face, there's something off about the paint application or the sculpt. I can't quite put my finger on it. I'm pretty sure it's the paint application. It's just not quite right. But his is a hard one to pull off. Like, I'll be the first to admit that, but something is not quite right. However, it is quite well done. I think they gave it all they had, but it's still like it's slightly off. Plenty of positives though, plenty of accessories. They're all super logical, super appropriate, and almost all inclusive in terms of how you see the character and what that character does in that film. They really swung for the fences on the paint. Doesn't mean it was entirely successful, but it does mean they gave it all they had. The throne is absolutely spectacular in terms of sculpt and deco, and it has a strong shelf presence. So it's a recommend from me, but you, the Senate, must decide his fate. I am the Senate. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Take care.